life is far from normal. Still, the pandemic, Kelly, is dragging on. But investors are concerned given that, look, last year is going to be a tough comp for, forever for Zoom. So what is your message to investors today about where growth is going?
Hi, Emily. So to understand growth and how we're thinking about the future of Zoom, you have to understand that we really have two core segments of our business. So we have the upmarket and the direct part of our business, which is doing very well. There are lots, this is evidenced by many things we talked about on our call yesterday. First of all, we crossed over our first $1 billion quarter and we had 54% year-over-year growth. We have lots of momentum in Zoom Phone, where we crossed over 2 million seats sold. And we also had a big upsell in a financial services company, which moved into now being our new largest customer. So very excited about the growth there. The headwinds that we're seeing, which is what you're seeing reflected in our rest of our year guidance, is in our mass market business. So this is an area that grew dramatically during the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, it was about 20% of our revenue. In Q2, it comprised 36% of our revenue. And this is a segment of our business, or our customers, I should say, where people are starting to move around the world again, where individuals and small business owners are traveling. They took some time off over the summer. Hopefully many of you are moving around the world and being able to socialize in person and doing in-person happy hours and dinners rather than doing them over Zoom. And that's where we're seeing the headwinds and the slight contraction that's now reflected in our guidance.
So, look, I know you've been on the phone with investors all day, including Kathy Wood, whose ARK has a big stake in Zoom. What does normal then look like for Zoom? What is your outlook for new normal and how much people will be using Zoom on a regular basis when, normal, if we could call it that, operations return for a sustainable period of time around the world?
Yeah, so, as you just prompted, companies like Google are delaying their back to work. And this is what we're hearing from many of our upmarket customers. And that means we're seeing really strong growth in our renewals. So we have a front-weighted in the year renewals seasonality. We saw a very strong performance around that in Q1. We saw that continue in Q2. We also are seeing companies that are thinking about, okay, what's it going to look like when we go back to work? And they're really preparing for a hybrid work approach. And so what that means is an opportunity for Zoom Rooms, our conferencing solution, because you need that technology in the office to make it work the way that it does today and to really have a great experience. So we actually saw attach rates for Zoom Rooms double from Q1 to Q2. So we're excited about the potential there, as well as Zoom Phone, which is really doing well. And that's what we're really focused on for the long-term strategy of the company. In June, we also, I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of long-term strategy, you just made a huge acquisition in Five9, $14.7 billion, cloud-based customer software maker. Are we going to see you make more big bets like this, big buys to build out what Zoom can offer?
So we're really in that critical transition phase. We're moving from being a meetings company to a platform company. And, I just talked about the products that comprise that: Rooms, Meetings, Phone. And the contact center is a really important part of the extension into the platform. And that's why we're excited about the potential of Five9 joining the Zoom family. And we will continue to look for other opportunities to extend the platform. Zoom Apps is another great example of that. We have 50 new Zoom apps in the marketplace today. And these are where third-party apps are really bringing that experience into your Zoom meeting. And that really extends the way that you can work and use the platform every day.
So Facebook, meantime, just unveiled some interesting new virtual reality features, VR workrooms, if you will. They think this is the future of not just video calls, but meetings. What do you think about that, and how is Zoom thinking about virtual reality? Do you consider what Facebook is doing here competition?
We don't consider that really competition. We look at opportunities for virtual reality. We always like to see how people are innovating around this space. But we have worked with other virtual reality companies and extended through AI, for example, also in things like surgery trainings. People are using virtual reality to do that over Zoom. And it's really exciting to see, especially in these times where everybody is working more remotely, how you can extend the capability of the platform and what you can do in a virtual reality situation like that.
You are adding some new features like gesture activated reactions for the iPod. So if someone raises their hand or does a thumbs up, that icon, as I understand it, will show up in the screen. Talk to us about that and more features like that we can expect to come.
Yeah, so the goal that Eric has always had for Zoom is to make Zoom meetings even more effective and better than an in-person meeting. And I think you've already seen that happen in terms of efficiency, and we use AI for things like transcription and to-do lists. The things that are missing is what you're highlighting, is like, how do you turn into natural gestures into an action that gets taken in the meeting? And then the one that we always talk about is like, how do you give somebody a virtual hug? Or even like the smell of someone's coffee if you're sitting across the room from them, that you get experience. And we're constantly thinking about ways to bring those interactions or experiences into the meeting so you feel like you're even closer to that person that you're talking to.